Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another series on ESOC TV. My name is Harrison. Week 2 of the ESOC Challenge Cup, the tournament featuring the top 16 players on the 1v1 Elo ladder go at it. This time it's turn of Knuschelbär taking on Ezad, and we see Knuschel spawning into the southeast of the map. Kamchatka in the colour blue, playing as the French civilization, going for an early training post as you'd usually do with French. His opponent Ezad spawning into the north of the map in the colour red, playing as the Japanese civilization. Double explorers out on the map, out and about, picking up the middle goats already for Ezad. So 2 goats there for the Japanese player, 2 goats for Knusch. I think Knusch could have maybe picked up all 4 of the faster and that scout, and currently sat idle. And goats mean prizes, and certainly a lot of extra food potential for a French player. And, shrines going down already from Ezad, so I think we're deviating away from a Teshuga Shrine meta into Torii Gates. It still could be Teshuga Shrine, to be honest. You don't have to go into Torii Gates, but you can see how Ezad has placed his shrines out on the map on the side, away from potentially in base, which may get scouted out from Knusch if he's looking to scout that. But picking up quite a few goats as well, that could mean that could be very useful on top of a Teshuga Shrine. So we'll have to see how Ezad wants to play this moving forward. In the meantime, Knusch is on top of this treasure here. 80 food, guy by 2 snow leopards. I don't think he's taking it just yet. He has seen it, of course. Maybe he's waiting for it, and that would make sense to go for it because he needs the food to age up in, and the Freitag and Explorer are moving into position for this. Ezad's on the other side of the map though, scouted a 75 wood treasure. Maybe his other Explorer is en route to try and take that treasure and help out the other Japanese monk. Knusch though going to take his 2 snow leopards and tactically tanking with Freitag the pet macaque, living with only 3 HP, and the French Explorer still on full HP stats. That's very, very nice, but I think Ezad may come in for the snipe here on Freitag. It'll be shame to see Freitag go that way, and Freitag has gone to monkey heaven. It looks like he has served the French cause very, very well and been a loyal owner to the end. But Ezad coming in for the snipe there, gets himself a massive 3 XP for his home city and sending that shipment that bit faster. First card he had sent is 2 villagers. So 2 villagers is card number 1 there for Ezad, whereas Knuschelbär sending the 3 CDBs as per usual. Ezad has picked up coriander seeds worth 75 food with the help of his own Freitag the pet macaque. Both players though have scouted out this 75 wood treasure, and looks like Ezad's having to run away here from the French Explorer, but instead of running, can just poof back and make use of that strong Japanese Explorer ability. But Knusch is going to turn around. He thinks he can take this treasure. This might be a treasure contention here between these 2 players, Knuschel's French Explorer and Ezad's Japanese Explorer, and it looks like actually Ezad is just getting in position. He can see in the fog of war if Knuschel's going to take the bait, but I don't think he is. Age up being thrown down. It is the Teshuga Shrine here from Ezad, so looking to be aging up the Teshuga Shrine, but no consulate from him in the first age. So more shrines, 2 villagers being sent, but also placed in a position where it might not attract that many hunts, but then can put the 5 goats on the Teshuga Shrine for a much larger effect. Okay, treasure contention is going in. Looks like Japan started the Tiger. Just has the Freitag the pet macaque to also help. Stun available, but both players are standing on top of the treasure. Who's going to get it first? We'll have to find out now. And I think Knuschel's just gone for that. Ezad's Explorer is too busy focusing down the native scouts. And out of a sign of frustration, decides to poof out of there and get away from Knusch as fast as possible. Ezad is in the chat. He's half German, half Peruvian. So whoever suggested that Ezad is Austrian, shame on you. But I'm glad I've gone for the Peruvian flag because we too many Germans as well. I think Ezad's probably the only Peruvian player in the community, so it's very great to see players from all over the world playing Age of Empires. Right, the age up's being completed here from Ezad. Age up with the Tishoga Shrine. Goats on top of the shrine straight away. In-base racks being built with 2 villagers. Shrine Explorer from Ezad being picked up by Knuschelbär. Could poof back to the town centre, but may have already used that ability, so it's on cooldown. We'll have to see. Regardless, though, it's not doing too much damage here from Knusch's Explorer. And meanwhile, I would say get some more shrines down, but it looks like Ezad's getting some scouting on his opponent as well. What does Ezad see? Does he see much? He sees a racks being thrown down, in-base racks from Knusch, and so you can play around this accordingly. 600 wood first card here from Ezad, going to be thrown down and gathered up by 2 villagers. What upgrades does he have so far? Has the tier 1 food income. Not many shrines though, but nice position here from Ezad, shrine in Knusch's side hunt. That's very nice. We always like to see that. And pikemen come out from Knusch to take on these shrines on the top right. Is that a batch of ashes? Yep, 3 ashes being trained. That should be enough to push back the pikemen, unless Knusch decides to reinforce with crossbowmen behind. Musketeers also a good shout, actually. That's a good shout, going Musks. And I like how in this instance, should I say, that Knuschel hasn't gone for a double batch of pikemen. Otherwise, then you wouldn't have any answers to Ashigaros, Yumis, or Shinobi no Monos if Ezad was dropping a consulate. Which he is now, he's dropping a consulate. So it will take time for that to be built up and ally with Japan. Putting pressure on these pikemen, but it's actually the flank of the Explorer and the 4 musks, and that is enough to actually pick off these musks. But Ezad with the 4.5 Ashigaros is just going to run away. And don't you just love to see Ashis do what they do best and run around, raid you from all angles, and if anything, just be annoying. I suppose they have the same speed as the French Explorer, who's got 1 Ashi in snare. Ezad has broken away his other Ashis, but 5 musks from the south, 4 from the top. These Ashis are essentially trapped. And that's going to be a good pickup here for Knusch, getting 3 Ashis for free and protecting his pikemen who have sieged 2 shrines. So yeah, really good early engagement there for Knuschelbär. New Shampoo dropping the Knuschelbär's emotes of the hurt bear. Knuschelbär isn't hurt, he's in fine form this game and looks to be taking a very slender lead in game number 1. More Ashes though from Ezad pushing across the map. Not too many shrines here being thrown down from Ezad. He's only on 80 shrine pop. And with the Tishoga Shrine behind, you'd think there might be a few more. Now, it is true, it's not... Ezad hasn't sent Kami or allied with the Portuguese, so these shrines, they do cost a full 125 wood resources. But you would think a couple more would be quite useful. Pike's going down to the south, putting pressure on this side shrine. Notice how there's no shrines up on this far side, and actually, if Ezad chucked some shrines more defensively, realistically, because he's not going for a massive shrine boom, might have worked out a bit better in his favour. Shinobi no Monos uncover the stealth scouts. Ashi's going to pick up the French Explorer, but the pikemen are going to take down the shrine. So trade's going on across the map. Ezad's starting to grow that Ashi mass. Currently up to 10 Ashigaru Musketeers. So 5 Shinobi no Monos, 10 Ashis with the Japan consulate buff pushing forward. Coin being sent behind. I think Ezad's going to use the coin just to spam out more units instead of an age up at this point. Meanwhile, Knuschelbär halfway up to the 3rd age. I'm going to start to think about eating those goats. Double racks at home. No stable just yet. Did send 700 wood as card number 2. Could drop down a couple more houses as well. So we want to see how he spends that 200 wood. Probably going to be veteran musketeers, considering how he's saving this wood specifically. But no, he's going double skirm at this point. So double skirm and probably another 2 houses. So that's 1 house going down. You would expect the second very soon. Knusch's villagers not yet having their great coats, but managing to pull back this villager before they get sniped. One CDB awkwardly pathed around the wrong side of the racks and coin mine. That could be a target for Ezad to focus down, but Musks are there to the rescue, pushing back the Ashigarus. And there's more Ashies sieging down the trading post. But there could have been a time where Ezad went deep into Knusch's base before the first batch of units come out, but a big batch of 10 skirmishers. Yeah, the batch is completed, as well as the 8 skirmisher shipment coming from behind. Yeah, Knusch's got enough anti-infantry forces here to push back Ezad's heavy infantry, and one Shinobi no Mono in stealth mode in melee as well, or soon to be melee, to try and get a snare on units, I would assume, once it goes out of that stealth mode, but just to see what units are coming out from Knuschelbär. And he will see the Cuirassiers come out from the stable when they do pop, but so far scouting the extra skirmishers. Ezad's running for the hills. He knows he cannot take this fight. What's his response? Age up himself, so chose to use that coin to age up, pardon me, and looks like he's going to go Golden Pavilion. Batch of Yumi's on the way, but it feels like he kind of needs some Naggies at some point just to keep his mass alive. Knusch is on the prowl, and it's for the time being taking the momentum of the game and being on the front foot, and probably the small advantage as well. Pikes still being annoying. Knusch managing to keep all 4 of these pikes alive, sieging shrine after shrine. So far they must have picked off about 4 or 5 shrines, so good use of those pikemen early on. And now we have Musketeer Skirmisher competition from Knuschelbär moving forward. But there's 4 Cuirassiers coming up from the stable. And I think Ezad didn't see it. He moved his Shinobi from when those Cuirassiers popped out. But he does see him now from the stable, from the Explorer. Explorer proofing back. The cat is out of the basket, as they would say. Ezad knows what's up. And he's just retreating back to his base and going to try and hold on, it looks like. Age ups come in. What's his first card going to be? Flaming Arrows, could be 5 Nagi, but a couple Yumi's out of position here, and Skirms is going to pick them off for free. But yeah, first card, 5 Nagi's coming in. Batch of 2 Yumi battle complete. Yep, up to 5 there. Villagers need to get into the town centre firing. Yes, they are. But skirmishers on the side just prodding away, being very annoying. But I just don't see enough anti-cav here from Ezad to deal with the Cuirassiers. Yes, you do have Ashigaru Musketeers, but if they go forward, the skirms will just snipe them down. Ooh, Cuirassiers on a big batch of Yumis. Sentries get popped onto these heavy cavalry, as well as the irregulars, so they're going to push these cavalry back for the time being. Getting some good value on them as well, but Ezad's just having to push his units forward to try and push his pressure back, but Knuschelbär with his skirmishers getting some good pickups here. Most of the Ashies have gone down so far from Ezad. He only has 4 Ashies on the field remaining, but there's now 5 Naggies, and the anti-cav presence here from Knusch is relatively limited, so Naggies could go on to skirmishers. A couple Musks will get focused down by the infantry mass, but oh, wow, okay, that's a big batch of veteran Cuirassiers coming from Knuschelbär. Currently got 8 on the field, so batch of 5 and the 3 from the shipment, and this is actually looking to be a clean-up here from Knuschelbär. Falcons have just arrived here from Knuschelbär, but I don't think there's going to be much of an infantry mass here from Ezad for those Falcons to clean up, because this cavalry unit's going to town, it looks like. Struggling to see Ezad's remass potential here. Let's go to his point of view. He does have Naggies coming in behind, but has decided to tap the GG, it looks like, realising that, no, he did not have the answer to the Cuirassiers, spending all of that export on Shinobi archers instead of clubmen. So this game looks like Ezad went for shrines early in age 1, then followed with the Teshuga shrine age up, while sending 2 villagers. So going for a somewhat a build which is halfway in between full-on Kami consulate, eco, standard Japan play, and halfway in between fast age up, Torii gates, shrines in age 1, and then go on the forward offensive with military shipments and spamming Ashigaris. But Ezad with the Teshuga shrine, a couple of shrines, which a bit in between. I don't know how this build order sits in comparison to the other 2, but quite a lot of these shrines got picked off by Knuschelbär's pikemen. About 4 or 5 at least, really hurting Ezad's eco. And that eco just led to a smaller mass of units as the game went on. Knusch having the right units at the right time. Large skirmisher mass initially, keeping these well protected at the expense of the colonial musketeers, wanting to trade them off in a very favourable way, and then the heavy cavalry came in reinforcements, just cleaning Ezad up there. Yep, good villager count from both players. Looks like Ezad sends in the 4 villagers just to once that game. Military population, Ezad trying to force the offensive, but lost 3 Ashigaris early on to the 9 musketeers, 4 pikemen, and the explorer snare. So really good control for Knuschel early on to get that good trade. And then Ezad was tempting to push, but took down the training post instead of going into the base, and that allowed Knuschelbär the time to train 10 skirms and send 8 skirmishers as well. And then Ezad had to be on the back foot, run to his own base, but Knuschelbär followed up with a very strong Fortress Age timing. And at the end, 8 cuirassiers, 3 from the shipment, 5 from the stable, just cleaned up. Not surprised that Knuschelbär at the end had slightly more resources. The eco is pretty close, but I suppose Japan can't really come close to those veteran cuirassiers when you don't have clubmen. Right, so obviously that's game number 1 is going to go to Knusch. Completely forgot about the scoreboard, pardon me. Right, so let's go into game number 2. Yeah, probably need to find some avatars for those 2 players. Now, it's something I probably should have done beforehand, but I didn't have too long to get onto the first game. Alright guys, we are back in game number 2. This game is on Mexico. We see Knuschelbär spawning to the north of the map in the colour blue, playing as this Spanish civilization. Crack shot in the 40 XP treasure, but moving straight onto a trading post. He's going to like this spawn of the TP. Spawns on the north side of the pass and should be able to get first pass. He's frantically gathering up all the woods and he's going to go for the TP. Oh, this is a nice start here for Knuschelbär. Should be able to get that first pass of XP from the TP Travois. His opponents, Ezad spawning into the south of the map in the colour red, playing as the British civilization. Vadfox now subscribing to ESOC. Sub hype indeed. Very glad to have your support. But back to this game though. Age 1 trading post coming out from Knuschelbär. Age 1 trading post also coming out from Ezad though. Could have gone for the far left trading post to get a slightly faster XP income, but I don't think Ezad's going to be too bothered that his trading post is on the right hand side. But Spain, with their faster XP income and lower XP threshold for shipments, that first XP pass already sends in 3 villagers. It's not even a minute yet when he had sent that shipment. So great start here from Knusch. 70 food as well. Yeah, oh, he's not going for the Pyro 1210. He's actually dropping down the house behind us, so probably going to age up with 15 villagers, but can't argue that Knusch has had a very strong start in this Age 1. So Ezad has named his explorer Sir Ezad, currently taking down a couple of cougars in the trees, will pick himself up 60 wood. That should be able to help Ezad get another mana down in transition, or certainly pay towards the cost of it. Sending 3 settlers himself. Looking at his deck, he does have Virginia Company, and that is probably what Ezad is thinking of sending from having the extra XP income and shipment from the Age 1 trading post. But this is versus Spain, remember. It's not really a very boomy civ, but a civ with a strong timing attack in the 3rd age if they're going to play it like that. Can Ezad save himself or stay alive for long enough for that VC boom to pay off? That's probably going to be the name of the game. This game we'll have to see. Mr. Jezebob handing out the rule of discipline into the chat. Come on, boys, follow the rules. Rules are there to be followed. Knusch walking past Ezad's explorer. Gentleman's agreement of no fighting. The dog from Knuschelbär's nearby. He's chasing behind, but Knusch missed the snare on Ezad, and Ezad's close to the town centre anyway, so I don't think Knusch really wants to take up this fight. Would be at risk of losing the war dog to the town centre fire, and he's going to back off for the time being. That's nice to see. Where's that TP Traveler? It's somewhere on the map. It's coming. Here's the TP Traveler through the darkness of the side of the map. This map does have a very long trade route off to the side of the map, which does increase obviously the time it takes to cross the map, but also increases the amount of bounty you get from the XP when you do receive the pass. So it looks like, wow, Ezad only managing to pick up the XP once the TP was here. That's a bit awkward. But having the experience points to now send Virginia Company. But has a lot of wood stocked up for when that shipment does drop. So I think Ezad would have hoped to have that experience points in that little bit sooner. And maybe would have preferred to drop the trading post on the far left trading post instead. Ezad training 3 war dogs to get access to this 130 coin treasure. Ezad's going to go snipe, and he thinks he's trying to snipe the treasure once that outlaw rifleman was being taken off by the dogs, but the dogs have actually just turned onto the explorer himself. Ezad realised he didn't have the time, had to crackshot the outlaw rifleman, and doesn't manage to pick up the treasure, and does manage to lose his explorer in the process. So really good trade there for Knuschelbär. He did have to spend 150 food training 2 more dogs, but at the cost of picking up 130 coin and the kill on your opponent's explorer, yep, you can take that trade. I think that's a really positive trade there for Knuschelbär. And Ezad's scouting potential is, well, limited, to say the least. And in this game, you don't often scout with villagers. But Ezad is blind at the moment of what Knusch is up to. And what is Knusch going to be doing? Well, he's aged up with the chests of coin, the governor aged up, sending 700 coin behind this, and checking his deck. Likely to have very standard age 3 playstyles, but hello. Look at this. Bowpike FI is on the cards potentially. Certainly not as strong as it was pre-patch when the Papal Guard instantly upgraded your units for you, but we'll have to see if a Bowpike FI is on the cards here for Knusch. Papal. That's the correct pronunciation. My bad on that one. But we'll have to see if that's the strategy. It could also be that Ezad's looked at this deck and gone, very, very greedy deck here from Knusch, trying to go for an age 4 timing attack. I can go for Virginia Company myself, and then Knusch just swinging back with an age 3 timing of Rodoleros, of Spanish gold into wood, and then the Rodolero, the Falconet, the Lancer shipments, and probably play into a playstyle from Brit, but not with Ezad not expecting the age 3 play. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is Knusch has options at the moment, and Ezad doesn't know what Knusch's playstyle is going to be, so has to try and align his build in the way to counter what he doesn't know and can't scout. I think that's probably the best way to describe the situation at the moment. But in the meantime, though, Ezad trying to get as much line of sight possible with a mana boom. So Ezad's point of view at the moment, he does have 34 villagers, 20 mana houses have been thrown down, so he's nearly reaching that maximum mana population. And the line of sight, he's spread them out here, there, and everywhere, and has a full line of sight, really, of what's going on. So that, I've got to say, that's very nice to see from Ezad. There won't be any surprises for him. And when you have such line of sight, gathering on hunts like these deers, these bisons over here, this forward pronghorn here, is relatively safe because you can see what's coming. And you can see that the coast is clear for the time being. Ezad working on a native native Incan Huminka, which is units the Incans used to have when they were a minor civilization, but here's a Huminka. It's not a plume spearman. So it's nice to see that this unit's still in the game and making an appearance here, because Ezad is picking them up. Right, Knuschelbär aging up, training a couple musks in transition. Batch of 5 musketeers, aging up to scout, so that's 4 hussars. Training musketeers and aging up with hussars instead of pikemen or crossbowmen does suggest that Knuschelbär will be playing an age 3 game. And maybe the cards in his deck is just throwing Ezad off at this moment. But Ezad's seen the 5 musketeers here and the age to the 3rd age. Maybe Ezad's already got a little sniff of what's going on. Once he sees the hussars, he should know that the fast industrial... Well, I suppose it is only 4 hussars. The hussars can be used to raid the British player who's out on the map. So it's not definitive to say that he's not going to be going for his industrial playstyle. But the idea of maybe going for the crossbow age up is that they can then be upgraded to the guard status when you get to the industrial age. But Ezad trained a couple pikemen to protect his villagers, losing 1 villager to the 4 hussar raid already. And Noosh has just been a nuisance to Ezad. Ezad having to try and catch his raids while Noosh can just run around relatively freely. Musks on the right side on villagers as well. Will that villager survive? It looks like that villager does survive, but I think a villager may have gone down though. Ezad not yet repping the greatcoats, which is surprising on a 46 villager eco. But I suppose he had been saving the resources to age up to the 3rd age and has full line of sight of the entire map, so he can kind of have vision on where all these units are at any point. And Hussar's getting trapped by the pikemen. Nope, they managed to escape and pull out and go the opposite direction. And that would have been a tasty pickup for Ezad if he managed to get those Huss. But more musketeers right side. And yeah, Ezad has vision, pulling back these settlers back at the time being. But Noosh knows his villagers to the top. He knows his villagers to the south. Looking at Noosh's point of view, he does see these groups of villagers. And that's just another pickup there for Knuschelbär, putting pressure on Ezad, who is, to be fair, very spread out and be quite hard to defend all these raids. Pikes pushing forward from Ezad, putting pressure on Knuschelbär's trading post, but more lancers coming on the right side. They're trying to get these villagers. He does see them. Yep, those villagers, they are pretty much dead. But the lancer shipment from Knuschelbär should signal to Ezad that this is standard age 3 play coming out from Knuschelbär, and the fast industrial is not on the cards this game. Just looked over into the chat. Looks like it's kicking off once again. So classic ESOC stream, fantastic action, great games, great commentary, and chat is on fire as well, but a different kind of fire this time. always funny to see. Meanwhile, Huss is getting more raids onto the villagers, but actually now the age up with the adventurer's longbow and 2 batches of musketeers able to push away these hussars. Pikemen still chasing around after they've sieged the trading post, but this large mass of veteran musketeers from Knuschelbär still not yet contested. And here's the falconets. Looks like Ezad himself will need to send his own falconets behind at some point to deal with this, opting to send his own 5 hussar shipments and going into goons. So maybe non-standard play here from Ezad, or certainly not the reaction I was expecting to see, shipping 5 colonial hussars. Only has 1 stable, so can only choose to upgrade the hussars or get in another batch of goons. And another batch of goons is the choice from Ezad. Does have a shipment ready to go. What's he going to send? You would expect it to be the falconets, but could also be musks. Yeah, 9 musks is a possibility. And then overpower the falconets with a large mass of dragoons. But here come the musketeers pushing in. Ezad pulling back at the moment. We have pikemen, longbowmen, musketeers, hussars and goons are all out for Ezad. Bit of a mixed composition here to defend. Knuschelbär though, no Rodoleros in sight, just going pure musk, lancer and falconets. Interesting combination here from Knuschelbär versus Brits, but I suppose Rodoleros are not the greatest versus a heavy musketeer civ, has to be said. More musketeers coming in from Knuschelbär. There's 16 musks from Ezad, but Noosh is up to 32 veteran musketeers. Goon's going to try and go in for a snipe. And the Falconets are going to go topside the mine. Musks are getting a bit away from the Falcons, it has to be said. A couple of War Dogs could be quite nice to train from Knuschelbär. He's currently got 3, can have a maximum of 5. And these guys are so strong in the Third Age. They don't upgrade like normal veteran units do. They get like some sort of double HP. It's an insane upgrade for these dogs. Very, very strong in the Third Age. Finally, a couple of skirmishers for Knuschel coming out. Five Hussars from Ezad going to raid Knuschel from the left-hand side. This could be a massive raid on the left-hand side. It really is. If he does manage to get those Hussars over to there, that could be rather painful, and I'll keep an eye on that. Jero Caceres donating $6. We have a raid left side as well. Ezad will have spotted this. Has he spotted it? Oh, he's only seen the one villager. He's seen 2. Oh, now he sees the rest. That should be enough for Ezad. And as he's pulled back away from the fight, he can certainly divert his attention onto this raid here. And I'm already seeing a couple of villagers go down. That's about 4. No greatcoats here for Spain as well. Got that greatcoat hype emote in the chat. 5 vills going down and pulling the entire Spanish army back to defend this raid as well. It's just bought Ezad so much time, and I think Ezad is now in more of a stronger position. It's been a bit of a turnaround. Those 5 Huss. Honestly, I was questioning the shipment, but Ezad has proved me wrong once again. Has got some great value out of them. Yes, the Rodoleros coming to clean the Hussar up. But the Goons are going to move over to Ezad and actually going to reinforce the Hussars and try and pick off some Rodoleros. Cavalry split away from the Rodolero contingency, going to move left side and counter push coming from Knuschelbär. He's realised that he's probably on a timer. He needs to go before Ezad's eco just overtakes. Well, I mean, it's great already, but takes off into the distance to the point Knuschelbär can't really contest. So he's going to cross over the map as fast as possible. A couple rods and dogs still right side to try and defend himself from the raiding pressure of the Hussars and Goons from Ezad. But in the meantime, we have Skirms, Musks, and Falconets moving down to the left-hand side. Another donation, Artful Dodger donating $10. I just want to help Kaiser pay his rent. Yeah, I mean, that's if Kaiser can make his way out of the group of death and into the semi-finals and finals. But top 2 places in the groups do pay out. Okay, Hussars, Dragoons caught by Knuschelbär. Musketeers getting a good trade here. But Ezad's counter pushing at the moment. Action all over the map, it looks like. So villagers being picked off by Knuschelbär on the left-hand side, but going to return back to home because Ezad is tearing the house down, it seems. Pushing in with Vet Musks. Did I see Vet Pike? He has Vet Pike as well. 5 Vet Pikes. But he's not training anymore, it seems. Interesting decision to go 5 Vet Pikes, but the Falconet flank, this is... Ezad's probably not prepared for this, and we've got Zedi, this is the wrong time for this. Zedi donating $50. I have something to say about it. Rules language champion side against it. Just take my money. Support very appreciated. Falcon exchange looks like gone in favour of Knuschelbär. Knuschelbär, Falconets 2-1 at the moment. Goons and Pikemen zone off the Lancers. Musketeers still protected, but the Rodoleros coming topside onto the Longbowmen. Varflux another $5 it seems, but the Falconets from Knuschelbär still standing. Minutemen yet to come in from Knuschelbär it seems. Ezad's army is getting decimated here at the point. Musketeers still moving into close combat from Knuschelbär. Wants to try and maintain the close range of the units and overwhelm Ezad in a numbers advantage at this moment. So Ezad with 21 Musketeers versus Knuschelbär's 25. But obviously Ezad's Musketeers at the moment, they do have their Musketeer combat, so they're stronger. And getting some more rights trades. But we can't forget the Knuschelbär having the skirmishers in the competition as well at the same time. The Dragoons getting melted by the Musketeer-Goon combination. And the Musks are running away from the single Falconet. Dogs are coming in to maybe get the snare. But Ezad's army was cleaned up. Damn, what a time. What a time for all those donations to come in. Couldn't pick a worse time, guys. Your support is so appreciated. But my God, I had to work hard for that one then. Trying to get everything covered. Ezad dropping second town centre, left side of the map on top of copper mine, keeping a watchful eye over 2 hunts. He does need to push out for map at some point, but I suppose Knuschelbär doesn't really... Well, Knuschelbär obviously has the military advantage. I'm not too sure Ezad has the military to be able to push out for the hunts as well. He has much greater eco, and trying to throw down a town centre with villagers in the face of the Spanish army is wishful thinking. He's going to pull those villagers back at this point. More hussars coming out, possibly for a counter raid. Musketeers got to pick off these 5 lances and protect this town centre from going up. Native scout from Knuschelbär seen these 5 hussars, but these lances are going to get picked off by the musketeers. Knuschelbär's focus is primarily on this army to the right hand side, currently unchallenged here from Ezad. Town centre foundation gone down, barracks gone down, and no real answer to the musketeers and Falk's right side, denying this entire side of the map from Ezad. Ezad's got 17 villagers idle, 17 chopping, and probably a lot more running in between resources, so most of Ezad's eco is not working at the moment. Veteran Rodoleros coming in behind from Knuschelbär. Musk's now moving out for a counter raid, but the hunt on the left hand side has already been cleaned up here by Knuschelbär. Knuschelbär looking to move over his villagers onto the right hand side of the map, as he's doing so far. Church coming down. Is this time for Unction? Unction not yet in, but might be the fort of Knuschelbär moving forwards. Musk's still left inside. Roller is moving to intercept these veteran hussars. Yeah, there's 5 hussars here, but musketeers nearby. Nush wants to dissuade, but not actually take this fight, because the Musks can turn around and take these units out. Town centre goes down. Villagers being picked off here as well. But instead of just the villagers as well, Minutemen being called, that Rax is going to go down as well. So the reinforcements from Ezad will be more limited. Stable thrown up left side. Big raid left side. Rodoleros on top of all these villagers from Ezad. And his musketeers on the top side. There's no real way he can deal with this. And this is his food eco. This is Ezad's entire food eco here. 20 villagers in this close proximity. And Knuschelbär with 28 rods. Okay, there's some more rods at home. 10 rods, but there's 18 rods down this position. Knuschelbär's moving back to get all his units in together to assault this central position. 2 town centres in the stable. Yeah, the rods have decided against it and gone back and killed the villagers because, yeah, you're never going to turn down 3 villager kills. Ezad's Hussars top side being cleaned up by the Rodoleros at home. 20 musketeers at home as well. So in total, Nush has 39 musketeers on the field. And I think he's in a fantastic position now. Ezad's eco is somewhat being decimated. Yeah, 39 villagers. It's the same amount of villagers really as Ezad, give or take. But Ezad's got so many idols. Wow, what a game. This has easily been game of the day so far. What a close game. But Knuschelbär managing to take that game and go 2-0 up. Yeah, nice to see the chat saying GG's and GG well played. I really thought that was a really close game, and it's such a strange one. Spain going mainly musketeer heavy, and Ezad didn't have a clue what Nush was up to after he lost that scout, but Virginia Company boom versus Spanish gold, standard fast fortress playstyle from Nush. Action all over, and I think once the raids started to happen, that's when the armies were being pulled left, right and centre, and that's when the fights are really starting to take shape. Let's look at the post-game and see what's going on. Look at this villager population from Ezad. Explodes his eco up to 45 vills by the time Knuschelbär sends his 5 villager shipment on the way to the Fortress Age. That's incredible how a civ with about 40% of the opponent's other civs, villagers, can stay in the game, but Knuschelbär sending the Spanish gold to supplement his economy and the stronger units on the field for a time being, was able to take some decent trades. This was the time where Ezad didn't have too much military and the units were all out on the map getting raided, so this period of Ezad here, obviously he's not trained villagers because he's built all the houses and aging up. You can see how Knuschelbär closes the eco difference. I mean, at the end, the raids from both players just get insane. And this was when the 5 Hussars got a great raid on Knuschelbär, but at the end, it was just Rodoleros cleaning up. military fight's going to be all over, but it was that big fight when all the donations coming through. Ezad pushing Knuschelbär's base when Knuschel was defending a raid and then going and pushing the southwest of the map, but decided to come back. Units being trained, winning the Falconet War as well, and once Ezad's army had been cleaned up, Knusch just had the military advantage, pushed on the right-hand side, and then eventually pushed on the left and raided the left as well, and that closed the game out there. Let's look at the all resources. You'd expect it to be in favour of the British player, but in the end, really, really close due to the Ezad having to move his eco around, run out of resources, the raiding pressure, and at the end, pretty much identical resources. So that's really interesting to see. But by the point that big fight happened, yeah, Ezad had the slightly better eco. But it was a military fight which decided that game. Both players having similar military populations. Let's go military populations. Yeah, there you go. But decisive fight there for Knusch, especially after winning the Falk War. Jez Bob, subscribing. Please commentate my life. I'm sure I can commentate your life. Maybe I should go into the audiobook business. Maybe send me a book to read and I'll read it for you for a set price. Who knows? We could have a series of Harrison reading 50 Shades of Grey. Right, let's go into the next game. Alright, game number 3 is coming up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back into game number 3, and we're on Malaysia. And I'm seeing the hero being picked on Malaysia, which is not the first time I've seen this civilization being picked on this map. Seems to be somewhat in the meta at the moment. Knuschelbär winning the last game as the Spanish, deciding to play as Haudenosaunee on Malaysia, spawning into the top right of the map in the colour blue. His opponent, Ezad, spawning into the southwest of the map in the colour red, playing as the Portuguese. Ooh, this could be the sign of a long game coming up. So we'll have to see what's going to happen. And I don't really know, actually. We'll have to find out. This could be water booms on both players. Knuschelbär already dropping the Age 1 dock as somewhat has seen in meta at the moment. We've seen Optimus drop dock Age 1 as the Aztecs last series. We've seen Soldier go dock. We've seen not Migo go dock, but maybe Kevin go dock. A lot of players going for docks at the moment as playing as the hero. This map has a lot of livestock at the moment. Both players only having the one Explorer Age 1. We'll try and move around to pick up as many of these water buffaloes as possible. And the water buffaloes really are found to be in high densities on the top left of the map and in the bottom right of the map as well. So if players have done their map research, they may find out and realise where the best place to go to find all the water buffaloes is. So far, only Knusch has only got the 2 water buffaloes. Ezad is up to 3, but there's plenty more on the map still to go. There's about 3 down to the south, 4 to the north, 1 in base. So 8 remaining on the field. Knusch is working on a 65 coin treasure. I suppose if it's nearby, you might as well take it. But if you scout a little bit to the left, that's a poor treasure. And that's also not a good treasure. So yeah, treasure's not looking great for Knuschelbär at the moment. Meanwhile, Ezad, 75 food's probably the best treasure he can get for the time being. May want to go back and take that. Anyway, Ezad, first card here is Schooners. No trading post here, so different build to what Kinnessy was doing of going trading post card 1, 10-10 age up into Fishboom. Looks like Ezad here is aging up 12 villagers, the quartermaster, but still sends Schooners as card number 1. And let's have a check of his deck. So, looks like Ezad going with Schooners, standard water deck here, advanced dock as well, Eco Theory. So we've got Eco Theory, rendering plant, and whale oil cards to upgrade the boat. Naval combat is always good to see. infantry HP as well. Yeah, standard cards to see. Only military shipments in the third age he has is the 2 organ guns. So maybe Knuschelbär could be able to exploit that. But Ezad managed to pick up the 75 food treasure at the expense of being snared by Knusch's explorer. Meanwhile, Knusch still in the first age though, soon to be aging up. Once again, getting to 20 villager population is a common theme among hero players at the moment. May want to eat one of these water buffalo just to be able to age up at a faster time. He's moving it around now, he's realised, but it's a little bit late for that. But that should only delay him down by about 2-3 seconds at most. It's not a big thing. Aging up behind. Aging up now with the chief. So going up with the chief instead of the wise woman. Knuschelbär working on the tiger at this point, getting kites in one, crack shots in the other. ZD Flower donating the sub to Ad Noir as well. Thank you for your generous support to other players as well. It's nice to see you sharing the love. Looking at Eero's deck, 3 villagers, first card as standard. Does have Water Dance in his deck to contest water if he wants to be aggressive on the water. No fishing upgrades, so no rendering plant, no fish markets. So this is a classic Eero of going semi on the water, and if you want to contest it, you may risk over contesting the water and over investing into taking down about 5 to 10 fishing boats. Ezad getting a trading post in transition, so has done the similar build to Kinesi but in the opposite order. Kinesi wanted to go for age 1 TP, age 10-10, or Ezad's age 12-10, and then 12-20, pardon me, and then getting the TP in transition. Does he get that pass? I know he misses the pass. So it might be a while before that training post pays off. Second dock already dropped on the South Sea. Will we see opportunities for the Portuguese to expand into the North Sea? It looks like that's the plan from Ezad, but we'll need to wait for a little bit more wood to come in. Currently only at 170, but the age up wood from the quartermaster should provide the wood income. Well, and the 700 wood now to drop down dock number 3. And there we go, dock 3. 700 wood into rendering plant is the standard card progression of choice here. I think the question is for Ezad is whether he will go greedy with a fishing upgrade, whale oil, whether go aggressive on this water by sending 2 caravels, or may go for the standard build, which is sending 700 coin and aging up off of that. Right, Knuschelbär is sitting on the trading post to the north, wants to get his share of the action on the trading line. Also denies the opportunity for Ezad to go for a second trading post into Stagecoach. But does Knuschelbär see what's happening to the north? He doesn't yet, but this fishing boat going for a bit of a wander on the North Sea does scout Portuguese fishing intentions up here, and actually scouts a double dock. A single dock is nice to scout, you could contest it, but double dock, that's a tough nut to crack if you wanted to break that one. So Knuschelbär may want to consider mining a lot of coin at this point and going and sending the 3 privateers to the North Sea to protect what he's got on the sea already. Or maybe go for a land offensive and try and take these docks from the land. Chances are I'd probably do both at the same time. Contest the sea from the water and from the land. But he's building canoes as well on the water. So may want to time canoes with privateers, but it's a while for his next shipment to happen. Let's see how Knusch deals with it. Maybe Ezad actually watched the Kinesi games and decided to copy the master at work and try his style for his own play. 1 layer of wall so far, quite a far away from the town centre for the time being. Does manage to include 1 hunt fully, half of a hunt. Another layer of wall could expand to the east side of this position, around this clump of trees and back down to the coast. But also trying to herd in this Sager hunts to the north as well to this second town centre and include those in a nice walling structure to keep his economy nice and safe and walled. Could wall up to the J-Suit mission as well. That would be a nice tactical barrier to include to wall up to. So that would force your opponent to run around the entire side here. But I suppose a small wall, it could also lock that side of the map off as well. So water booms from both players at the moment, it seems. Knuschelbär, 10 fish in boats. They do not have their gill nets for the time being. Moving in with 3 canoes to harass what Ezad's doing. Knuschelbär now sending the 3 privateers on the top side. I kind of feel that Knuschelbär could have and probably should have waited for the privateer shipment to drop, so that there's a bit of an element of surprise there for Ezad. Ezad, I'm sure he knows what's up. He's going to get contested on the top side. May have time to defend himself, but he's already aging up to the Exile Prince. Tomahawks from Noosh tearing down Ezad's southern trading post. Does Noosh actually want to go for the 2 TP stagecoach? This is what I'm looking forward to. Tomahawks pushing the docks from the land and then attacking once again with the canoes and privateers. May want to push that privateer shipment forward though, and just instantly get those units going to work as fast as possible. And actually, if you get the privateers spawning into this box area here, could cut off the fishing boats from getting into the dock. So if you pick off these boats, that's less damage the docks can do once the reduced number of fishing boats are garrisoned up. I can confirm all 3 ships have spawned this time on this game, and they're going to move in at this point onto Noosh's fishing operation on the west-hand side. Tomahawks moving from the south side, going to pick off this 1 villager and put pressure from the land. 2 TP stagecoach now occupied by Knuschelbär, and Tomahawks putting siege pressure on the dock down to the south, which is kind of forcing Ezad to train maybe 1 caravel on the southern side to defend this, but the action is on the top side. And let's see what's going to happen. Right, Noosh aging up behind this with the messenger. Went to the second age with the chief age up. Now aging up with the messenger politician. 1 caravel was trained by Ezad. And yeah, Knuschelbär could actually say that's somewhat of a good trade for him. Forcing the reaction from Ezad. Due to a couple colonial tomahawks putting pressure on the dock. Meanwhile, he's got the TPs. 1 dock's going down because there's pressure on the land, but the docks can't shoot land units. But now that the ships are back in, the privateers back in action, there's the anti-ship damage from the boats. But once the canoes and privateers just go all in here, I think they should be able to take everything down, and then can pull back the privateers on low HP to repair them up. We've got to see though, Ezad could be dropping a frigate topside. No shipments just yet. Training lots of units from 3 town centres. He's actually training a frigate from the top dock, so he needs to get his fishing boats into the dock just to try and keep these privateers at bay for as long as possible until that frigate trains. But the caravel is down as well. War hut from Knuschelbär. Long house from Knuschelbär as well, just to try and get that map control line of sight. And I think this dock's going to go... No, actually, the frigate is going to come up, but the dock's going to go down, and that frigate is going to get nuked as well. So, actually, Ezad may have considered cancelling that, but now we've got 1,000 resources on the water here. But 3 privateers and a couple of canoes should easily overwhelm this frigate. There we go. We've got the privateers, canoes putting pressure onto the frigate. Let's see what's happening. We'll get out of Twitch. Yeah, a frigate shipment actually going topside as well. So there's a second frigate with no dock here. There's no way to repair the ship from Ezad, so 1 frigate's going down. And the thing is, there's still 3 privateers. Although they're low HP, they're still standing. So Knuschelbär's got some good value for the time being, and may want to be training some more canoes behind us just to try and force the victory here on the North Sea. That war hut's gone down. That's got 100 siege attack per shot so far at this moment. Ezad's told me via Discord he's half German, half Peruvian, so that's cool to see. I was wondering what that notification was. Okay, dock actually being thrown down by Ezad with 3 villagers and getting the villagers into the frigates. Ezad is not letting go of this North Sea. He's going to fight tooth and nail to the end. It's actually really entertaining to see, and it's interesting to see how it's going to work out. Outposts being thrown down by the villagers as well, but Ezad has to deal with the war huts. Tomahawks putting pressures onto the villagers, and then the naval units of Knuschelbär coming in, and actually a war canoe with 400 HP should be enough. One more shot from the war hut brings down one frigate, and this other frigate's only got 450 HP, so should be an equal trade between the war canoe and the frigate, but the privateers coming behind. This should be a cleanup. And yeah, Ezad's lost control of that north side. Knuschelbär aging up to the 4th age behind. His villagers on the water only got gill nets. Meanwhile, Ezad's fish eco, gill nets, long lines, as well as rendering plants. So much more upgraded water potential there from Ezad. Let's see how Ezad's doing at the moment. Got the resources. He's clicking up to the 4th age with the Tycoon. Knuschelbär's halfway up there himself, aging up the Warrior, going into Elite Tomahawks, and likely to be playing very similar to how Lucas was playing versus Kinesi's Incans on Baja, California, of going into Light Cannons and Champion Tomahawks. I suppose with Ezad, with these fishing boats, they're going to go down eventually, but you might as well just fish with them just to try and squeeze every bit of last value out of them. Maybe just run around and shift click all over the ponds just to annoy Knuschelbär and force him to micro that. But yeah, he's just moving a couple of these fishing boats away just to try and be as annoying. But essentially, those boats are going down at this point. Anyway, the age up's come in. We've got 2 light cannons on the age up, as well as 1 Travoir and be pushing forwards. The siege workshop has already been dropped down. He's sending himself 4 light cannons, more Tomahawks being trained, currently up to elite. Hero has got a lot of coin here, so looking to be training his own batch of light cannons very, very soon after, but he does need a couple more longhouses being thrown down. Where are they being built? Come on, let's get the houses in. He's over popping again with the 16 Tomahawks. Could just cancel that for the time being, because he just needs to get this population in at this moment. Even just buy the wood with the market, but yeah, he's dropping the longhouse down. I don't actually think there is a market. I don't think Noosh has a market, so can't quickly buy. There's the market. It's hiding down here. Of course he has the market. Alright, light cannons put pressure onto the dock, and that caravel's going to get picked off by another volley from the light cannons. So that caravel's going down. Ooh! Only 1 shot managed to fire there from the light cannons. The other shot was being held back after the boat moved out of line of sight. This is going to be tough, though. Batch is probably going to be soon to be 10 field cannons. I'm expecting Noosh to start training another batch of cannons. Look at this coin he has. 2.5k worth of gold in his bank account. But meanwhile, Ezad, with the score lead, 20 Vert Cassadors going into Culverin Royales. So he's getting the artillery upgraded, but not yet trained too many. Does have 2 Culverins ready to go, but will need... You're going to need 5 or 6 if you want to deal with 10 field guns from Knuschelbär soon to be on the map. Yeah, he's got another 3 in queue. And actually, if he gets a full batch of 5, that'd be 11 light cannons. And then once that's upgraded there, go to field guns. Elite Tomahawks, Champion Tomahawks being upgraded very soon behind his. And we have a forward spawn point for any more shipments. I think Eero still has access to their big buttons upgrades from the... it's from the town centre, the Eero Scouting Party, War Party, and the 4th Age one. So a cheap way, or a very fast way to get extra Tomahawks onto the field of play at a very short notice. Couple Culverins there, just pushing back Noosh's army. Still light cannons, 9 light cannons on the field, but no guard units. 1 Culverin getting picked off there. I'm surprised that other Culverin still survived from the bouncing cannonballs. That could have been quite interesting to see. But they do outrange the light cannons, though, and there's 1 shot kill. So at the moment, these Culverin Royales 50 siege attack with a 4x multiplier versus artillery. Easily 1-hit kill a 165 HP field light cannon. More light cannons being trained here by Knuschelbär. No upgrade just yet. And actually, with these guard castles with counter infantry rifling behind this, I kind of fancy Ezad's chances of defending at this point. All Ezad needs to do now is have his fishing boats on the whales, have a decent coin income, and get a big batch of Culverin Royales. And he does that. He's got 4 in queue at the moment. Could go for a 5th. Hasn't quite got the 5th at the moment, unless he's got that at the very last second. No, there's only 5 Culverin Royales, but it does have a big, massive guard castles. 32 guard castles at the moment. Heavy cannons are being sent behind this. Noosh has gone onto the water with a dock and 2 war canoes. There's no frigate being trained on the water to alleviate the pressure down on the southern sea. And the cannons are just moving in. And each time a house goes down, it just really hurts Ezad's replenishing potential, constantly being housed. Culverin's trying to pick it off, but actually, as soon as they need to shoot, they need to keep on kiting back. Needs to keep the distance. A nice double shot there, killing the 2 field guns there. And actually, I think we've only 2 more light cannons in the field, but now the presence of heavy cannons in the face of guard castles as well. And this should be a decent defense here from Ezad. Ezad does have the resources to train some more Culverins, and that's a big volley there. Plus 10's going everywhere. Minutemen can pop out from that north town centre. That's what's going to happen. A Vilpool could also be very effective at this moment. Low numbers of Tomahawks on the field for Knuschelbär. Ezad pushing forward with villagers. Brave villagers these are in the face of champion Tomahawks, but they're going to take one for the team, it looks like. Minutemen putting pressure onto the light cannons, and 1 cannon's on low HP there, so that's somewhat a decent pickup there, but they're decent. Light cannons just turning around onto the castadors, getting a nice volley there. 3 war canoes from Knuschelbär still working on the southern sea. Needs to sit on top of the whales for maximum effect. That villager, rest in peace. You've been very brave. Yeah, that Minutemen's definitely dead at that point. Looking at Ezad's potential point of view, sending advanced warships. Is he training any warships? He's training 1 frigate and does have 1 caravel out in the water as well. Ezad has realised how important it is to have these units and defend his water down to the South Sea. These water canoes aren't exactly the strongest. So if Ezad can hold out this military push from Knuschelbär on the land and deal with the water, he should be alright. He's at 88 villager population. Knuschelbär is only down to 55, so that's a big, big difference. And obviously, Ezad having double factories as well. Let's not forget that. But these cannons putting pressure on the frigate, actually. It does have a couple of vills in board, but may want to put them back. Might actually need a monitor at this rate, just to get a big kill from range. And actually, 1 monitor's special attack should be able to kill like 6. I'm not even joking. The area effect is very, very large from a monitor's special attack. Culverin's moving forward when they're in their packed up mode. Takes time to unpack. Should really have them unpacked waiting. And yeah, trades 2 Culverins for 2 light cannons. But once again, trading equally. I think that's fine here for Ezad. As long as he can just let this go on and let his factories and eco kick in from behind. Train lots of villagers, up to 86 villager population. And still having very strong factories behind this. But they're currently sat on food, though, to help that villager production. But you're going to need a bit of coin soon. Okay, here's another frigate. So there's 2 frigates. Oh, but look at the artillery, though, from Knuschelbär. And that is just 1 volley. And a second volley should be able to kill this. And that is 1,000 resources going down. Oh, he's surviving it on 190 HP. Are you serious? Are you serious? God, I thought that was going to die. But yes, a monitor is what Ezad really needs in the water. But also, massing of vet musks, maybe going into legionarios on musketeers, Culv Royales and guard castles should be enough to hold on. I'll tell you what Shipman would absolutely clean up right now if he had it in his deck would be the 6 Elmetes, but he doesn't. But we do see a bit of a side action. Castadors and Vet Musketeers on the top side, putting pressure onto Knuschelbär's expand and eco away from his base as he starts to drain out all those natural resources. Field cannons still pushing in, and yeah, these are now field cannons instead of light cannons, so they're upgraded, they're stronger. Dock goes down. Let's see, Ezad's not training anything just yet. Heavy cannon picking up a couple of champion tomahawks from a nice distance. Does have the population room and really needs to send Mamelukes. I think that's what is going to be the game changer, is if Ezad can sell a bit of wood, bit of food, get his factories onto upgraded coin, and send at least very strong, high HP, tanky cavalry units. That could be what he needs versus these massive field cannons. Okay, Colverin's going to unpack. Should get some really good trades here. These field cannons are quite clumped up, but he's moving forwards though. He's moving forwards into the range of the cannons. He's kiting back now, and the infantry has returned home. But there's more cannons. This is gripping stuff, because actually, Noosh just doesn't have the stuff on the field at the moment. He's sending CM. He's sending Colonial Militia with only one town centre. Oh, and the Culverin goes down as well. He's only got one Culverin in queue, but no coin to really train anymore. And he's floating so much wood and food at the moment, but there's so many field cannons. Oh, I don't think Ezad would be very happy if he loses it from this position. Or from the position he was beforehand, but he's under some critical amount of pressure here. This is even villagers moving forward just to be annoying and trying to divert some attention, but these field cannons, they just continuously keep coming from Knuschelbär. Another batch of elite Kanya horsemen's, but I'm sure there'll be a big batch of field cannons coming soon behind. Colonial Militia have now been sent, but on a couple town centres to the north, I suppose. He's going to try and play turtle in as long as possible. What can he send at this point? Well, it's the organ guns. That's probably the only thing he can send, because he doesn't have the coin for anything else. Okay, double batch of Minutemen being called from the hometown centre, so 21 militiamen coming up. Colverin picking up another field cannon, though. And in the blink of an eye, the field cannons went from about 7 or 8 down to only 3. Explorer moving forward to be annoying. Vilpool from behind to punch these units down. Still 82 villagers gathering, and the factories as well. And yes, the villagers in hand attack, 10 per swing, punching down the field cannons. And now the guard castles, militiamen behind are doing a decent job. Hero villagers, that's a good trade. Trading a couple of vills for a field cannon. Oh, I think Ezad's bought himself a bit of breathing room to stabilise. He's got the South Sea under somewhat congestion. He does have obviously the naval combat card. Lots of wood available. Going for another caravel to deal with the war canoes on the land. Once he gets a monitor, that'd be very strong. We have veteran Cuirassiers from Knuschelbär sending the age 3 shipments, because he's ran out of shipments in the 4th age. Cannons getting DPS down by the infantry mass here from Ezad. But cavalry topside though, if they can get a big raid in, that's always a nice way to come in. Town centres nearby though, so these villagers should be safe. But it's actually once he gets deep in down to these villagers, may that cav raid be very annoying to deal with. Noosh still training war canoes out on the southern sea, but versus upgraded caravels and frigates, I don't think it's going to work in the long run. Cuirassiers rain down to the south onto this mill. Quite a lot of villagers idle. Just it must be so much APM for Ezad to get everything sorted out at the moment. Must be quite tough to control everything. But big batch of musketeers here onto these Cuirassiers. Is that Legionarios? Yeah, Legionarios being researched here for Portugal. So going for the Royal Guard musketeer upgrade. And probably at this point, he already has infantry combat, or gunpowder infantry combat. And it's now sending gunpowder infantry HP. More field cannons though, pushing down to the south side, putting pressure on the town centre. This could force another CM big pop here from Ezad. And finally, the monitor is being trained from the southern dock. And I think that is going to be a very useful way to contest this artillery pieces from Knuschelbär. And once Knuschelbär runs out of having the artillery war, might another batch of 5 field cannons coming from the top side. CM's being called, they're moving in at this point. Frigates also providing some sort of distraction on the southern side, having to now engage with the dock, but before them and provide covering fire for the monitor when it comes out. But yeah, this infantry can't contest this 10 field cannons, and the cannons are moving south side to actually pick off the frigate. That frigate is now dead. That's going. That caravel, will it survive as well? Half HP, but here comes the monitor. Come on, right in the middle. Let's see how many it can kill. He's turning, he's going for it. Big shot coming in. That's a triple kill. That's decent. That is a decent return on investment already. And if he managed to keep those frigates and caravels alive, would pick off these units as well, protect his fishing, and let that recharge come in. Field cannons slowly marching their way back into Ezad's base. Ezad just not yet having that critical mass of units, and now down to 75 villagers. He's gone through that massive bank of food and wood. So if he starts losing any more buildings, it's going to be much more harder to repair and remass. Does have upgraded wood on the factories. Wanted to provide support in fire than the Tomahawks, but there's no more infantry. It's just cannons at this point. Please, 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 let there be a Mameluke shipment soon from Ezad's point of view. Legionary array topside, very smart, like that. CM defeating these Tomahawks in 2 shots, always nice to see. Couple Colves there, 2 Colves, but they're getting dangerously close. Unpacked again, that's going to be a free pickup there for Knuschelbär. Managing to dodge most of those shots. And that Culverin saying thank you very much. Gonna unpack one. Yeah, actually, even getting 1 kill, I'm surprised. I was expecting both those units to go down there. Monitor still firing, waiting for that recharge ability to go in for another big volley on those cannons. But Ezad's just so close to closing this off, but awkwardly not closing it off already. Frigate picking off his war canoes. Is there any fishing boats still alive? No, they're all cleaned up. Ezad still needs to basically drop down another 2 docks and go and remass those fish. Those whales still need to be gathered, and there's still a decent amount of fish on the sea as well. Elite forest prowlers now raiding topside on these villagers. Need to get into their town centre just to protect themselves. Knuschelbär moving in with 6 cannons. He's on a travois dance at the moment. He's got a big batch of resources from his town centre. I don't know what travois he's trying to build from this. Maybe it's plantations. I don't know actually where the place is where they actually are dancing. Oh, there they are. There's only 5 dancing. That's not a lot. Back to Ezad. Gunpowder infantry attack is the card of choice. Still on upgraded wood from the factories. Ezad has no coin income, realistically. He really has a small amount of coin income. No plantations. Okay, he's got 1 plantation down to the south side with 7 gatherers. That is not going to be enough. He needs coin on the factories. The thing is, he's got all these villagers upgraded to log flume, gathering on the wood. These 10 villagers with log flume gather the same as upgraded wood from 1 factory. So it makes sense to have these factories on coin and have all your villagers gathering on the wood. He needs some culverins now, or he needs a recharge on the monitor. Okay, he's got 2 frigates. He's leading the charge on the south side with his infantry, but he needs the monitor's special to pick off many more of these field cannons. There's field cannons right underneath the factories, and the Minutemen have been called from this town centre already. He needs culverins. He's got 1 queued, 2 to pop out more. No, just the 1. That's not enough. This is really close. Nush coming back so strong. He really has Ezad pinned up against the wall, as they would say at this point. This must be very tough. And a town centre goes down. Villagers moving out to punch down the field cannons. 1 factory down. A 2nd factory is soon to be down. Ezad going for a counter raid with all his infantry across the map, but won't find many villagers topside. They're all on the south. Scattered, actually. Very scattered. But picking up the 2nd factory, and there's still many field cannons. Baby, I think Knuschelbär has managed to pull this one out of the bag from the brink of defeat. This has been an exciting game so far, and yeah, the resigns come in, and I have to say Ezad's tapped out there. So Knuschelbär going, looks to be up to 3-0, and Nush taking the series as well. So that was game point for Knuschelbär, and if Ezad managed to hold on, could have gone for the reverse sweep. There's always the possibility, always wishful thinking, but certainly a very, very close game to end off the series. And let's not forget, game 2, Spain versus Brit, that was a very close game as well. So people saying Knuschelbär's got this group easy peasy, likely to be 2nd favourite in the tournament. I don't know about that. Okay, so it is true Ezad hasn't won this series, and I don't think Ezad won his previous series, I think. I might have got the players confused. But that was a good performance there from Ezad, and Knuschelbär really had to work for that one. At the end there, just a villager camp from Ezad greatly in the lead, but you can see once the Age 4 pressure came in, Ezad just couldn't get the critical mass of Culverin's walls he needed, and maybe needed to tap into a bit more of that Kinesi Bastion wall defense to buy even more time. The monitor switch was very nice, but that could have come in a lot earlier as well. Ezad, in the meanwhile, once he got to the 4th age, he knew he was down on that economic play and had to go all in, and he did, and he kept pushing, and he kept pushing, didn't relent up, and you can just see that just keeping on trading, keep on training, keep on pushing, never giving up, and just basically kept pushing until one player cracked. And unfortunately in this game, it was Ezad who cracked first, so the Portuguese defensive nut was broken. And actually managing to, I think what was very impressive was to take the control of the Southern Sea as well. Although at the moment it's only Ezad's units on it, there's no fishing going on. And no fishing means there's no whales being gathered, so the coin income from Portugal was really starved towards the end. And that led Knuschelbär to wrestle out a larger difference between field cannons and culverins, and managed to siege his way through Ezad's base. But wow, that was a 27-minute game. Certainly well played. A lot of interesting stuff on the North Sea as well. Ezad trying his best to hold on by training a frigate and sending a frigate, but Knuschelbär with the 3 privateers, a couple of canoes, war canoes being trained eventually, the war huts being dropped down, the tomahawks pushing from the land. It was a really good effort from both the land and sea to deny Portugal from the top sea as well. And then once Knuschelbär cleaned that up, Age to the 4th age behind it, pushed straight through the Portuguese town centre and base, and eventually managing to get the win there. So well played from both players there, really well played from both players, it has to be said. Just Knuschelbär just edging out slightly ahead and having that slightly higher quality in this series over Ezad. Quick look at the ore resources gathered. Yeah, you can see that there was a point where Ezad was really ahead economically, but he was always under massive pressure then, because that's when Knuschelbär was pushing with his largest massive cannons. But as the pressure came in, although Knuschelbär's army was starting to decrease, his eco was just getting bigger and better, whilst Ezad's was just diminishing in return. And once these two the ecos got a bit too close, at the end, Knusch had a better eco from Ezad, and Ezad was reliant on that eco. But then Knuschelbär just was able to overwhelm. Yeah, what a great game to end that series on. Really was a great game. I don't think there's anything else I want to see at the moment. So, yeah, that's it for this series.